Rachel Khoo, and this beautiful northern city is now my new home. But I, along with most Swedes, often escape to the tranquility of a little cabin in the countryside.
Look at that! It's huge! Bit of a mouthful, that, isn't it? My Wallenburger at Burgers. 2 waffles ready to go. It's not a pea soup without the mustard. A cake worthy of a celebration, I think. Yay!
Exploring Sweden and all the culinary delights it has to offer will be the source of inspiration in my Swedish kitchen. Ugglarp Farm is located right by the coastline in southwestern Sweden. The produce grown on this farm has a reputation for being unique in flavour and appears on fine dining restaurant menus all over the country.
You're right by the sea here, aren't you?
Yeah, rather close, yeah.
Does that affect the way you have to grow the cabbages or the flavour of the cabbages?
The salty wind, actually, I have customers who really want to buy especially kale that grows very close to the sea because they told me that it tastes a little salt.
Okay,
yeah.
So it picks up the salty air?
Yeah, I think so.
Delicious. Can we pick one of them?
That one, maybe.
Yeah, that looks great.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Perfect. We'll pop that in the basket. No. So you've got pointy cabbage. What other types of cabbages do you have?
Here are broccoli, cauliflower, a lot of different kind of kale, different colors. Yeah.
They sound so crunchy, the leaves.
Yeah.
Perfect. So pop that in there.
Cabbages, kale and root vegetables have always played a big role in Swedish cooking, and they are ingredients that the Swedes take for granted. But they can be used for so many good things.
Do you find there's one particular cabbage that is the most popular one in Sweden?
Black cabbage, svartkål.
Oh,
svartkål.
black cabbage,
like,
okay.
Yeah.
So in the UK you call it Cavallo Nero by the Italian name. Yeah, it's become very fashionable.
Yeah, very.
So you say the same fashion in Sweden, people enjoy
make
eating
chips
it.
out of it, fry them in oil.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you make Cavallo Nero crisps.
Crisp, yeah.
So they're slightly healthier.
Yeah.
Look at that colour. So this is the really dark kale, isn't it?
Yeah, the purple one.
Beautiful.
Unlike myself, who doesn't fare well in cold weather, kale actually becomes a more vibrant red colour the colder it gets.
Let's head out. So this is curly kale.
Yeah, this is this curly kale, like this.
Yeah, you can eat like just this.
Yeah.
Super crunchy.
Yeah.
So where did your passion for like growing cabbages and different vegetables come from?
I actually started when I was only 6 years old. I remember I was growing peas. I don't know why.
Okay.
Yeah, it's growing quickly up and it was nice to look at.
They're pretty with the flowers, aren't they? Should we go?
Yeah.
Sweden has an unspoken law called jantelagen. It's a social norm that says you should not brag about yourself. This can at times hinder progress, but it also teaches you to be humble and thankful for what you have. This is also true in Scandinavian food, taking simple products to make something special. The humble cabbage, a misunderstood vegetable. The best way to cook it, I think, is to cook it lightly. So, let's start. Cut this into quarters. I've got this fantastic pointy cabbage here, but you can go with any cabbage you like. I mean, cabbages come in all shapes and forms and sizes. Key to this recipe is some butter, and lots of it. Make your life easier by using soft butter. It won't work with butter straight out of the fridge. Right, on the tray they go. If you don't have a barbecue or open fire, what you can do is just put the cabbage under the grill, same job. Over to the fire. Just have to watch out when you're cooking these because they can cook quite quickly. You want to make sure they're just charred a little bit. I'm going to let those cook and make my vinaigrette now.
Now the vinaigrette, it's nothing extraordinary. It's a simple mustard vinaigrette. I've got some sweet mustard here. Some vinegar for the acidity. Some oil. Salt, very important. You want to make sure your cabbage is well seasoned. And then you just have to pretend you make cocktails. Give it a little shake. This is the easiest, messy-free version of making a vinaigrette. Okay, the vinaigrette's done. I've got some hard-boiled eggs. I'm gonna peel. Just a finishing touch to my spring cabbage vinaigrette. Ready to plate up. I love cooking cabbage this way. It goes all crisp and sweet, slightly smoky, very delicious. Now, I always like to double check my vinaigrette, and the easiest way to do it is just to take a little leaf, dipping it in the salt, and having a little taste. Just check for the acidity or you need more salt, but that tastes pretty spot on to me. All you need to do at this point, give it a good drizzle. A little bit of hard-boiled egg.
Grating hard-boiled eggs is a little retro, but it's coming back into fashion.
Adds a little bit of creaminess. And then finishing touches, just some chives, a bit of freshness to cut through all the other different flavours. Sprinkle that on top. And that's all you need to do to make a cabbage tasty.
My cabbage vinaigrette is not unlike the classic French starter, asparagus mimosa, where asparagus is served with a tangy vinaigrette and boiled eggs. When thinking about Swedish food, you don't often think about tomatoes. But actually, it's very common to grow your own. When it comes to large-scale tomato farms, it is a different story. The weather is too cold and the winters are too long. But there is a place in southern Sweden where they manage to grow beautiful and great-tasting tomatoes in all kinds of varieties.
What's the growing season for tomatoes?
We actually started tomato growing in February, week 7, and then we get out the first tomatoes in April, middle of April, and then we are going to the end of October.
I'm after some tomatoes, which would be good for salad, but I think we're doing well, but maybe a few other colours?
We're going to go to the next block. I think there is some other very beautiful tomatoes.
All right, let's do that.
Yeah.
How many varieties do you have of tomatoes?
83.
83?
Yeah.
The colour, size and variety of each tomato will impact the flavour. From green tomatoes with a tart floral flavour to the deep red coloured ones that are fruity and sweet.
What kind of tomatoes are these?
This is Gianita.
Okay.
And, that is one of my favourites because there's a lot of taste in that one. So
Right. So what? Can I pick? I go for the red ones?
Yes,
here.
go for the red ones.
And is there a particular way you pick them?
We pick them always from upstairs because you see the red one is there and then the colour goes down and you get greener and greener. So I always pick the first one up here.
Yeah. All right, I might try one. Is that okay?
Of course. It's okay.
Sweet.
Sweet. Lovely. Tasty.
Yeah, delicious.
So now you come into my next block.
Ah, all
Yeah.
right. You could just go around just eating tomatoes.
I do that every day.
Right, I have a basket full. Enough for my salad. Fantastic.
I hope so.
Thank
Lovely.
you very much.
Thank you.
I've just got one more stop to make to pick up a vital bit of equipment. Websud has made cast iron cookware since 1906. The work is hard and visiting the factory is like a door into how factory work was like at the turn of the last century. I'm here to discover what makes an authentic cast iron pan so durable and to find a traditional Swedish waffle pan.
So this tradition of making cast iron pans in this region is quite long, isn't it?
Yeah, 112 years.
112 years?
Yeah.
And what do you love about cast iron pans?
They last forever. They can take high temperatures. Many people would inherit cast iron from their parents.
So it's something which is passed on through the families.
Exactly.
But I mean, I love cooking with cast iron because it really retains the heat.
It does, yeah.
So it's great for when you're doing like stews. And this one you can actually pop in the oven.
Yeah, you can.
Which is great. It's super useful when you want to start off on the hob and then finish it off in the oven. And then I love this one. This is so Swedish, no?
It is. Swedish classic. Waffle iron.
OK, well, it sounds perfect for my cooking.
Yeah.
I'll definitely be happy cooking with these back in my studio.
Yeah.
Now I'm all set to make my next dish.
When it came to trying my first Swedish waffle, it was love at first bite. My Swedish waffles, however, have a little twist on them with a butternut squash. It's not what you normally put in a recipe, but it tastes delicious and it gives a lovely colour too. Oh, need to struggle with chopping this in half. I'm just going to scoop out the seeds. So you only need half of the butternut squash, and that's going to go in the oven. You want to roast it until it's tender.
Place the squash into a preheated oven at 180 degrees fan. It should take roughly 45 to 50 minutes.
So you know when the butternut squash is done, it looks cooked, and it is basically tender, soft. I'm just going to scoop out the flesh and pop it in my bowl. It's all mushy. You want it like a puree, no big lumps, basically. Before I forget, I'm going to melt my butter. Now, with my butternut squash, I'm going to add all my wet ingredients. I have my milk. It's going to go in. My buttermilk. This is where it's handy to have a really big bowl to make it in. Otherwise, you make a mess. And then 2 eggs. All right, melted butter. I'm going to add almost all of it. I need to save a little bit for my waffle pan. Mix that in. Right, wet ingredients done. Now it's just about mixing the dry ingredients together. Okay, so just some plain flour, nothing fancy. Bit of baking powder, just help the waffles rise. Dusting of cinnamon, and a generous pinch of salt. I'll just give that a little mix. And then we just combine everything together. Don't want to overmix the batter, because if you overmix it, then you develop the gluten and then you end up with rubbery waffles. And who wants rubbery waffles? Right, I'm gonna let this rest for about 20 minutes or so, just so the batter settles and makes for a better waffle. So, while that's resting, I'm gonna make a few toppings. I'm gonna use these amazing tomatoes I picked up. I always think it's best to work with seasonal ingredients. It means you don't have to do so much work in the kitchen. When they're in season, tasty, juicy, there's really not much to do. You let the ingredients do the work for you. A bit of salt, a good glug of olive oil, some parsley too. And we'll just let that sit until we need them. I'm just going to put the waffle iron on the fire so it heats up. While the waffle iron is heating up, I'm going to do a sweet topping, which is literally going to be some whipped cream with cloudberry jam. Now, the trick to whipping cream is make sure your cream's really cold and have a cold bowl too. This is where I get my daily workout.
Cream contains tiny globules of fat, which are solid when the cream is cold, and these support the air bubbles, resulting in a fluffier and airier cream.
You just want some soft peaks, nothing too stiff, otherwise you'll be making butter. I'm gonna pop that back in the fridge until I need it. And now I can make some waffles. A little bit of butter. So it's important to butter your waffle iron. Plenty of butter.
If you don't have a waffle iron, you could use the same batter to make small round pancakes in a frying pan.
And wait for the magic to happen. Fingers crossed. Yeah, it's not looking bad. You can see the heat's a bit uneven because it's a bit darker on the backside. A couple more minutes and it should be done. This is where you can't be impatient, because if you're impatient, what happens is the waffle is still sticking in the pan. It's done when it doesn't stick anymore. Oh, I think this waffle's done. This is where the factory line begins. Grease up again. Okay, 2 waffles ready to go. You can really top them with anything you fancy. That's the joy of it. Sweet, savoury, or whatever you find in the fridge. A little fridge forage is always good. Crispy bacon, can't go wrong with that. Just to finish off, a touch of parsley. There you go. Waffle 1. For the sweet one, a generous cloud of whipped cream and a little bit of cloudberry jam.
Cloudberry jam is made from a tart aromatic berry which looks similar to a small yellow raspberry. It's mainly found in the Swedish marshlands. If you can't get hold of cloudberry jam, you can easily replace it with raspberry or any jam you prefer.
And there you have it, butternut squash waffles with 2 little toppings. Parsnips in a cake might be rather unusual, but they'll make a delicious addition to my praline and parsnip cake, adding a natural sweetness and a subtle nuttiness. I'm going to top and tail my parsnips, peel off the tough skin.
Finely grating the parsnips help them dissolve into the cake batter.
I'm going to mix together my dry ingredients. Now I'm using wholemeal flour. It's not what you normally use for baking, but I actually like that nutty flavour.
And some ground powdered hazelnuts.
Pinch of salt, a little bit of cinnamon, and some baking powder. Just want to mix all your dry ingredients together. Don't want any lumps of baking powder in your mixture. Parsnip goes in, mix that all together. I'm now going to whisk up some eggs and sugar. And then you just want to whisk it until it's light and fluffy. I'm going to add some oil.
Vegetable oil or any non-flavoured oil.
Add your dry ingredients and then fold it in gently. Try not to over mix, otherwise you'll beat all the air out. In it goes in the cake tin.
Put the cake in a preheated oven at 180 degrees fan.
For about half an hour. You know the cake is done when you can gently press it and it bounces back. Cake looks perfect. While the cake cools, I'm going to make my praline. You want to make sure your hazelnuts are blanched without the skin, because the skin will add a bitterness to your praline otherwise. They're toasting up nicely. You can see they're getting a little bit of colour and they're releasing the lovely oils, and it smells good too. I'm going to put them on a tray to cool down. For the caramel, you need some caster sugar and then sprinkle it into the pan in an even layer. The easiest way to make caramel is to do it in a light coloured pan because you can see the colour of the sugar. When you're making caramel, there are 2 important things. Don't leave the caramel unattended, and then also you don't want to stir it. So if you stir caramel, then you agitate the sugar crystals and that will make your caramel lump up. All right, I'm going to turn it off the heat now because it will continue to cook. Pop in your hazelnuts. And work quickly here because the caramel cools down really quickly. While this is cooling, I'm going to make a simple cream cheese frosting. Soft butter, sugar, and cream cheese. Once the caramel and the hazelnuts have cooled down, you can blitz it up into a coarse kind of powder. I quite like it when it's kind of a mixture of textures. Time to assemble the cake. I'm going to cut the cake in half. Tiny bit of icing on the bottom of the plate just to stick the cake down. Cake top, and then the rest of the icing. And then a little bit of icing on the sides, just enough to make the praline stick. So just take a handful and sprinkle it on the side. I'm going to do a little Swedish nature landscape with my cake. Little tree in the background. And a final dusting of icing sugar. Okay, it's a little bit cheesy, but who doesn't love a little bit of cheese? My praline parsnip cake.
I really get to see Sweden from its best side, travelling around and visiting wonderful farmers and passionate entrepreneurs who inspire new ways of cooking traditional Swedish dishes. I'm Rachel Khoo, and this beautiful northern city is now my new home. But I, along with most Swedes, often escape to the tranquility of a little cabin in the countryside.
Look at that! It's huge! Bit of a mouthful, that, isn't it? My Wallenburger burgers. 2 waffles ready to go. It's not a pea soup without the mustard. A cake worthy of a celebration, I think. Yay!
Exploring Sweden and all the culinary delights it has to offer will be the source of inspiration in my Swedish kitchen.
Eres mi consentida, tú reinas mi vida. Eres mi consentida, yo vivo por ti.
This is the city of Malmö, situated just across the water from Copenhagen and only a 20-minute drive from the Danish capital. Despite Malmö being seen by many as Copenhagen's smaller sister town, it has a cosmopolitan and vibrant feel like any large city around the world, mainly due to its rich immigrant population. One of the many benefits to immigration is food. Falafel may now be sold all over the world, but here in Malmö, it's become a cheap favourite with the locals.
Let's try some falafel.
Yeah, let's do that. Can we have 2 falafel, please?
Fantastic.
At one of the local falafel stores, I'm meeting Linda Dahl, who's actually a fika expert. But before we get to coffee and cookies, we need some Malmö food.
So I heard in Malmö, falafel is really popular.
It is. It's, you could say it's almost like a Malmö's national dish. We're like 177 nationalities living in Malmö. And regardless of religion, regardless of if you're a vegan or a meat eater, or if you're rich or poor, you can always have a falafel. It's sort of a unifying dish for the people in Malmö. And I think that's why it's been so popular. Oh, thank you. Thank you. This is so delicious. It's all about the mixture. You have this really crispy falafel, and then you have the balance between the salad and the pickled cucumber, and of course, the sauces.
Super crunchy falafel.
Yeah.
You can say that falafel is a kind of vegetarian meatball, and that gives me an idea for my next dish.
The English have fish and chips, the French have coq au vin, and the Swedes have meatballs. My versions are vegetarian meatballs, just as delicious. I'm going to start off by soaking some porcini.
Porcini is a wild forest mushroom with a nutty flavour.
And that's really going to be the backbone of the flavour. While that's soaking, you need to let it soak for about half an hour. I'm going to fry an onion and some mushrooms. The button mushrooms are going to add texture to the bean balls. So while that's cooking, I'm going to whisk together my other ingredients. I've got some allspice, some ground flax seeds. Now the flax seeds, what they will do, they will bind everything. So a bit like how you'd use an egg. And then black beans, they've been drained. Kidney beans, they've been drained too. Also got 100 millilitres of the liquid you get in the tin of beans. That's got starch in it and that will help bind everything. Black pepper, plenty of it. Don't be shy. Salt. And then you just want to mash it all together. Make sure you keep an eye on your mushrooms and onions. Don't want them to burn. Okay, so that's got the consistency I want. It's like a textured kind of paste. I'm gonna set that aside. Now, to my bean balls, I'm obviously gonna serve a mash, but it's not gonna be regular potato mash. I'm gonna make a cauliflower and butter bean mash. Just want to get equal size florets so they steam evenly. So you want to steam your cauliflower for about 10 minutes until the florets are tender. Now, my bean balls need a few other ingredients, some breadcrumbs. So I've got my mushroom and onion mix, which has got a lovely caramel colour to it. This is going to add a fantastic flavour to my bean balls. And then I'm going to add my porcini. So with the porcini, you want to save the liquid it's been soaking in because that's going to make the base for our gravy. Finely chop your porcini. You want to mix everything together until it's all well combined. Shouldn't end up with a very sticky kind of dough. Get your pan nice and hot, add a little bit of oil, and then you can form your balls. I didn't realise how popular Swedish meatballs were until I moved here. Pops up everywhere, from the nursery, school canteens, at work, at home. Now I just need to fry the bean balls. Make sure it's nice and hot. So what you want to do is just caramelise, crisp up the bottom. You can see it's turning a lovely golden brown colour. I'm going to pop them on the baking tray and into a warm oven, just to keep warm while I make my gravy and finish off my mash. Cover them up before you put them in the oven. To make your gravy, you're going to need that porcini liquid from earlier. To thicken up my gravy, I'm going to need some cornstarch. Just add a little bit in there to make a paste. I'm going to use the same pan as I used to fry my bean balls to make the gravy because it has all that lovely flavour in there. Stir in the cornstarch. A teaspoon of yeast extract. This is going to add that depth of flavour. Finish it off with some black pepper, cream, and a little bit of lemon juice. Just a few drops. Now, last thing to do is the butter bean and cauliflower mash. And then we have everything. Cauliflower's done, and then I've got these already cooked butter beans. They go into some cream, of course. White pepper. Unlike mashed potato, you don't have to worry about over mashing it. As always, have a little taste. Delicious. Right, all I need to do is assemble all the different components together. Generous dollop of mash, bean balls, cucumbers.
You can use good quality store-bought pickled cucumbers.
Gravy, the lingonberries. Don't forget that part.
If you don't have lingonberries, you can serve it with red currant or cranberry jelly.
Last but not least, a sprig of dill. That's it, to my Swedish bean balls. Often the tastiest dishes are the ones that use the simplest ingredients, like my stewed spinach eggs, or as I like to call them, my Swedish green shashuka. Now for my dish, I'm going to make a spicy red garnish. You can add as little or as much as you like, and if you don't want it as spicy, take out the seeds. Red onion. If you haven't had shashuka before, it's a dish originally from Tunisia. It's a rich tomato sauce with onions and spices, and you crack eggs into them and you cook it in a pan. So instead of tomato sauce, I'm using traditional Swedish stewed spinach. So that's why it's green. Now to take the bite off the red onion and the chili, I'm gonna make a pickle. Some white wine vinegar, pinch of salt, a pinch of sugar, and then a couple of tablespoons of water. Give that a little stir, and just let that sit while you make the rest of your other ingredients. For my stewed spinach, I'm gonna chop an onion, add some butter to your pan, then you can add your onions. Just want to gently fry this. You're softening the onions at this point, you're not caramelizing them. What I love about this dish is it's mainly ingredients you might have in the freezer or in the fridge already. Nothing too exotic, but so simple to put together. To my softened onions, I'm gonna add some frozen spinach. And I'm gonna cover that up and let it cook covered for 5 minutes. So you can see the spinach has melted. It's a little bit watery at this point, so you need to cook it for about 5 to 10 minutes uncovered to evaporate all the excess water. Now that the spinach has reduced down and it's not watery anymore, I'm going to add my milk and cream. Cream. Lots of white pepper. Be generous with your seasoning. Salt. And then some nutmeg. I really love this flavour, so I tend to put quite a bit in. Don't be shy, be bold. Give it a gentle stir, and you're ending up with this lovely, thick, creamy stewed spinach. So you could eat this just like that, but I'm gonna add some eggs into it. Makes it a perfect brunch dish or a light dinner. Great for sharing with friends and family. Last egg. I'm gonna cover that. Cook it for about 5 minutes until the egg whites are set. While that's cooking, I'm gonna toast some bread. Need some dill and chives. You know when the eggs are done is when the egg whites have set. Not quite there yet. This looks like it's done. So I'm gonna add my chili onion garnish. It's kind of essential. You could do it without, but if you don't have this, it's missing that little kick. And then a few sprigs of dill on top of the garnish. A sprinkle of salt on your eggs. Hot toast needs some butter, of course. And then all that's left to do is to take a piece of toast and dip it in the egg yolk. That's the best bit.
Now it's time for fika, and I'm meeting up with Linda Dahl again. She knows everything about Swedish fika.
Coffee, tea?
Coffee.
Okay.
Coffee.
Well, I'm going to be English and have
Yeah.
a cup of tea.
After the Finns, Swedes drink the most coffee in the world with an average of over 1,200 cups of coffee per person per year.
I don't know. Okay, all right. Is it that bad? I will order a coffee.
No, it's all right to have a cup of tea.
The concept of fika is simple. It is the moment that you take a break, often with a cup of coffee and a baked treat. You can do it alone, but most often with friends and family.
Swedes tend to see Swedish fika as almost as a human right. And fika is supposed to take time. You're supposed to gossip, connect with friends and family. The fika break is really important. It is mandatory. So, what do you want to begin with?
I think we should just start with the dammsugare, the Hoover. The bright green marzipan. Is there a reason why it's called a vacuum cleaner?
This is a no-waste cake. So you take the old scrapes of biscuit and you sort of...
You're really selling it while I'm eating it. It tastes great. And then we have chokladbolles.
Yeah, chocolate ball. It's basically just oat, butter,
Cocoa powder,
cocoa powder, and sugar.
Very simple ingredients. The one you can make with your kids.
It's the first thing that the kids learn here in Sweden to bake. I think that is chocolate balls.
And then these are actually one of my favorites. I don't know why it's called Sarah.
Well, I'm not really sure. I know who Sarah Bernard was. She was a French actress, but maybe this because the French culture have sort of inspired Sweden a lot during the history, the same as British culture.
Well, it's a bit like pavlova was inspired by a ballerina. Yeah. I don't know how you broke into it. It's a bit hard. I might just bite into it because it's like a macaroon at the bottom with a buttercream and then a chocolate topping, isn't it?
Yes, it is. Nice.
So let's talk about the princess torte.
Yeah.
The famous princess torte. They even know about it in England now.
They do?
Yes, this is the most famous Swedish, apart from kanelbulle, cinnamon buns, kind of cake.
Yeah, I can understand that. When the Princess Victoria here in Sweden had her first child, the princess cake sold out that day. 70% of every cake that are sold in bakery shops are princess cake. So it's really popular.
I'm gonna tuck in.
Yeah, do.
It's just so light and fluffy.
It is. It is a sponge cake, and then you have this fluffy whipped cream, and you have layers of crème anglaise. In this version, you also have raspberry marmalade. You're actually not supposed to have that in the green one. You're allowed to have it in the pink one. But
we're being controversial
yeah,
here.
And modern.
Okay, I like how Swedes like to break the rules. Ooh, we're gonna have some raspberry
marmalade in the green princess cake.
In Sweden, there is morning fika, after lunch fika, afternoon fika, and sometimes even evening fika. Though most Swedes might not sit down and relax with a cup of coffee 4 times a day, they do have fika once or twice.
A typical Swedish biscuit has to be havreflarn. Oh my goodness, I can't speak Swedish, forget it. It's oat cookies, basically. Really simple, crunchy, very satisfying. My version is a little bit different to the traditional version, which uses sugar, flour, oats. I'm gonna use bananas, very ripe ones, to sweeten the biscuit. The riper they are, the better. So the bananas you really don't want to eat anymore. They're perfect. Pinch of salt, teaspoon of ground vanilla, and then some oats. Mix that all together till you have a slightly wet oat dough. Baking tray lined with baking paper, and then a cookie cutter roughly about 6 centimeters wide. So just take some of the oat dough and then press it into your cookie cutter to make a round. So you want the cookies to be a couple millimeters thick and even. It's really important they're even because then they'll bake evenly. Just repeat until you've filled the tray. The last cookie's done. I've preheated my oven to 220 degrees, really hot oven. And they're gonna go in for about 10 to 15 minutes, and then you need to flip them over. So the biscuits are done. You can see they're done because they've got lovely golden edges and they sound crisp. You could eat them just like they are, keep them in an airtight container and they'll keep for a couple of days, or dip them in some chocolate. I'm gonna melt some chocolate. I'm using dark chocolate, but you could use milk chocolate if you'd like. My chocolate has melted. I'm just gonna give it a little dip, like so. If you find the chocolate too hot to handle, just use a spoon to spread on the chocolate. Now, what I like to do is sprinkle a little bit of finishing salt on my chocolate. It just brings out that chocolate flavour, makes these biscuits extra special. It's not a traditional touch, but it's extremely delicious. 5 ingredients is all you need for my oat cookies. Banana, oats, chocolate, vanilla, and a pinch of salt.
Malmö, with its large immigrant population, has a rich and diverse food scene, which I've thoroughly enjoyed exploring. It reflects Sweden of today and potentially Sweden of the future. I'm Rachel Khoo, and this beautiful northern city is now my new home. But I, along with most Swedes, often escape to the tranquility of a little cabin in the countryside.
Look at that! It's huge! Bit of a mouthful, that, isn't it? My Wallenburger burgers. 2 waffles ready to go. It's not a pea soup without the mustard. A cake worthy of a celebration, I think. Cheers!
Exploring Sweden and all the culinary delights it has to offer will be the source of inspiration in my Swedish kitchen. Gothenburg is the second largest city in Sweden and the only major city with the Atlantic Ocean as its coastline. From here it is open water all the way to the tip of Scotland. Naturally, fishing has always been very important here. The herring is Sweden's favourite fish. Lately, it has seen its popularity challenged by farmed salmon from Norway. But still, herring is the most Swedish of all fish. If it's not pickled, it's usually breaded and fried. Here in Gothenburg, it is sold on the street as fast food.
Hej, hej! Strömming, hemlagad mos och lingon.
Yeah.
So strömming is?
Herring, fried herring.
Okay, fried herring with homemade mashed potatoes and lingonberry.
Yeah.
Sounds great. I'll have one of those.
Yes?
Yeah.
Yeah. There you go.
Oh, wow, this looks delicious. And look at the herring. The breadcrumbs look so crispy.
Yeah.
But it's not just breadcrumbs, it's that
No, it's
dill.
dill, yeah.
Yeah.
And salt and white pepper.
I love the coating on the fish. It's so crunchy.
This is Fiskekyrka, which means fish church in the local dialect. It was built in 1874 and served as a fish auction until 1910. The church-like windows gave the building its name. On the second floor is a restaurant where, according to its owner, the best shrimp sandwich in the world can be found.
I think we're going to make a traditional Swedish räkmacka.
Räkmacka?
Yeah, prawn sandwich. So we've got our shrimps, prawns, we've got a boiled egg, we've got some saddle leaves. This is a mayonnaise, or
It is.
Yeah, mayonnaise, and that's it. And there's some lemon there as well.
We're gonna make it together.
Yeah.
Super easy. take the bread.
Should I butter it?
Yeah, butter it. More.
More. Yeah, okay. You're
like basically everything. And I
What?
start. Yeah, we love. Yeah, butter is good.
You know how you put butter on and when you bite in it, you see your teeth marks?
I love that.
Yes. Okay. Then I understand how much butter you want on there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because the butter is kind of salty, and it's fat.
All right.
And the shrimps, as you felt, they're actually a little bit sweet.
So this is a very popular sandwich in Sweden, isn't it?
It is.
It is the sandwich to order. They pop up everywhere.
They pop up everywhere.
Like, I've even seen it at like a corner shop, like a newsagent.
I never buy a shrimp sandwich. This is like the shrimp sandwich I would do home. What you do is like it's the perfect couch food. You just bring everything you need. You can do it as you're watching TV or whatever, and share a good bottle of wine or two. But the technique, and especially this time of the year, when they're developing the roe.
Yeah.
The roe isn't under the belly.
Yeah.
The roe is still in the head. So I like the taste of the roe. So what I do is that I take just the top of the head. So I get the roe lift, and then we take the beard.
Yeah.
And off with that.
Yeah.
And then underneath the belly, and then just give it a gently squeeze on the tail, and you
Wow.
you should have.
Amazing. I just learned how to peel prawn.
Yeah.
Okay, so
We do one layer of mayonnaise on top, and then we cover everything up with
some salad leaves.
and more mayonnaise.
Yes, I like
Because we don't want the shrimps to when you bite it, you don't want the shrimps to just fall off. You want them to be a little bit sticked in the.
They should glue on.
Yeah. And I take your egg and the Swedish
in the-
invention.
Is it Swedish?
I don't know.
Maybe you just
I
made it
hope
up. The egg slicer.
Egg slicer. Beautiful boiled egg.
Okay, so we've got bread, we've got a nice layer of salty butter, we've got some mayonnaise, we've got a lettuce leaf, and then we've got some more mayonnaise, and we've got some egg.
Shrimps.
Shrimps. Is the combination's right on the shrimp sandwich?
Looks lovely.
It does, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Very, very appetizing. I think once you've had one of these shrimp sandwiches, you'll never be able to have like a regular shrimp sandwich, will you?
What do you call this?
Dill, crown dill.
Crown dill.
Yes, because it's like the dill at the top. Oh, the final touch. How Swedish. This looks beautiful. Wow. That layer of butter makes a difference.
It's good, huh?
Yeah. You're definitely right to be so generous. Worth all that hard work of peeling. Well done.
Though people in Gothenburg swear by their prawns and how to eat seafood the right way, I suspect that even the holy prawn sandwich can be done slightly differently.
Seems like everyone in Sweden has their version of prawns on toast, and here's mine. I'm going to do a party version, which I'm going to use pumpernickel bread.
Pumpernickel is a dark, slightly sweet rye bread, but you can use sourdough or any bread of your preference.
Perfect bite-sized pieces. I'm going to toast them. While that's toasting away, I'm going to make my topping. A little bit of mayonnaise, creme fraiche, some salt, Dijon mustard for a bit of heat. You can add as little or as much as you like. White pepper. Mix that together. Prawns already peeled. Make your life easier. A little bit of dill. Dill is a herb I always associate with Sweden. Comes up so often. That goes in. Save a little bit for later. Give that a little stir. Going to check on the toast now. Before I top these, I need a little bit of butter.
I'm putting on slightly less butter as I have a rich dressing on the prawns.
Try and get the prawns on the toast. It doesn't need to be too much of a heap. People should be able to pop these into their mouth quite easily. Now I've got an extra special touch. A little bit of garlic slow rum. So it's a fish roe from the north of Sweden. Looks like little beads. Adds a bit of sweetness. Sweetness and saltiness at the same time. Now, one last thing. You've got the orange going on, but we need a tiny bit more green. A few finely chopped chives. Just makes everything pop. A simple little starter for your party.
In the small village called Assiga on the Swedish west coast is Gudmundsgarden. It is a small pig farm started 20 years ago by Ralph and his wife.
There's been an increase in interest
Yes, of
over
course.
the years?
In these 20 years here in Sweden, we see that people are more and more interested in food quality. And now people want to have local varieties, as a local produced with a historical connection.
It's fantastic, but they look so happy.
Yes, yes. Pigs are very social. They are not aggressive.
They're like playing and lying
And
in
you
the
see
mud.
also these tails.
Yeah.
Normally, why industrial farming pigs have no tails. You take these tails because they are so aggressive, they eat each other.
All right.
But here, every pig has his tail. We have responsibility also for these animals here. And if these animals are happy, it's also good for me and my family. I say, we have a good job.
Yeah.
We must save the family farming in whole Europe. It's so important that not everything becomes industrial. We do this now in 20 years, and it is working.
So what type of pig are these?
Oh, this is a mixture between Swedish landrace and Hampshire.
A British
very
race?
old British race, Hampshire.
What do they eat?
Pigs are all eaters, like human beings, and so they get also a mixture of barley, oat and rye, plus beans.
But they also eat what's found here.
Yes, yes.
So the meat is kind
Some worms, insects. No? and so on,
influenced
no?
by the flavour of this land in
Yes,
Sweden.
that's right. Same in Spain with pata negra ham, or in Parma, this is ham from Italy. We say, oh, this is typical Italy, this is typical Spain. And now we can say, this is typical Swedish.
Yeah, totally. I mean, what a beautiful
Yes.
countryside.
You
And
can
you
see
can
they have in the pool, they are lying in the pool.
Yeah, having their spa time. So I need some pork mince.
Yes, this we can fix because it's quite fresh. Here we have it.
Fantastic. And I also get some of the smoked bacon. Lovely. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Happy pigs make good quality meat. I'm off back to my cabin to cook up a traditional Swedish dish, the Wallenburger. It's named after one of Sweden's most well-known industrial families. Naturally, I'll be putting my own twist on this classic and taking some inspiration from fast food.
There's nothing worse than a dry, rubbery burger. That's definitely not the case with my Wallenburger at Burgers. I'm going to start off by making my burger patties. Now, the key to this burger patty is using really rich, indulgent ingredients. You need either some pork mince, or traditionally you would use veal mince, cream, 4 egg yolks. The egg yolks and cream are going to add that richness to the burger. The egg whites you can save to make a meringue. You can even freeze them in an airtight container. They'll keep for a couple months. Generous pinch of salt and lots of white pepper. And then you just want to blend everything together. I'm going to put the mixture in a bowl, and that's going to go into the fridge for about an hour. You want the mince to absorb the cream and the egg yolks. So my mixture's been sitting in the fridge. It's a bit easier to form now. I'm going to roll it in some breadcrumbs. I'm going to add a pinch of salt. Toss that through. And then form this into 4 patties. Dip it in the breadcrumbs, then flip it over to get the other side, and then pop it on a clean plate. And the last one. Right, you'll need a generous dollop of butter in a hot pan to fry your burgers. And when the butter's singing, you can add your patties. You want to fry the patties about 4 to 5 minutes on each side until they've got a golden crust. You can see here, it's got a lovely golden colour on them. Crispy too. I'm going to put them on a tray. They're rather thick patties, so they need to go in a preheated oven at 170 degrees for about 5 to 10 minutes just to cook it all the way through. While the burgers are finishing in the oven, I'm going to make my pea puree. I'm going to add some salt to the boiling water and another pinch, just for luck. Peas go in. I'm just using frozen peas. And this takes about 5 minutes to cook. Some lettuce, lingonberry jam, and I've got some brioche burger buns, which I'm going to toast on the fire. I think the peas are done. Let's have a quick look. Yeah, just going to drain them. To finish off my peas, I'm going to blitz them up with some butter. That's always good. A bit of salt. And I have a bit of vegetable stock as well, just a little bit. And then you just need to blend it together. That looks spot on. Give your peas a little taste. Check if you need a bit more salt. Good. All that's left to do is to assemble everything. I'm using iceberg lettuce, a bit retro, but it's crisp. You don't want fancy rocket, it doesn't work for this. Some lingonberry jam.
If you can't get hold of lingonberry jam, you can use cranberry or red currant jam.
It's definitely not going to be easy to eat. It's a big mouthful, but tasty. Look at that colour. And then pop that on top. My Wallenburger burger, a twist on the Swedish classic. Kladdkaka Swedish chocolate mud cake is super popular at dinner parties because it's easy to make. But what do you do when you have friends who have dietary restrictions? Well, you'll have to make my cake. It's just as tasty and easy to do. So I'm using some sticky sweet dates as my base. It's going to add the sweetness. Put that in the blender. Some espresso. Now what the coffee does is bring out that chocolatey flavour. You want to blitz this until you have a smooth paste. All right. Now this cake is super easy because it's just about adding all your ingredients into the blender. So I've got some non-tasting vegetable oil. You could use coconut butter. Goes in. Some ground flax seeds. That's going to bind everything together. Some black beans, not what you expect to have in a chocolate cake, but it will give it that muddy texture. A little bit of the bean liquid, some vanilla bean paste, cocoa powder, teaspoon of salt, and some baking powder. That's it. We've got our cake batter ready. I've got a baking tin already lined with some paper, and you just need to pour in your mix. If you wanted to, you could do individual ones, like in a muffin tin. They just take 10 minutes to bake versus a half an hour for the big one. Spread the mixture out. Then that goes in the oven preheated at 200 degrees for about half an hour. You know when the cake is done if you pull out a skewer, and it should be slightly wet on the tip. You don't want it to be completely dry. The cake should feel a little bit muddy. I'm gonna let my cake cool down a little bit, and while that cools, I'm gonna make a really easy icing using avocados. So normally you'd make icing with butter, but we're gonna do a vegan version, just as creamy. So the avocados add that creaminess. Really important you have super soft, ripe avocados. Pop that in your blender. So this cake is vegan. There are no animal products in there. It's also nut-free, refined sugar-free. Basically, it's free from many things, but not free from flavor. Okay, to my icing, I'm gonna add a pinch of salt, cocoa powder, and then the sweetener is going to be maple syrup. You can add as much or as little as you like. Adjust it to your liking. That's it. Make sure your cake has cooled down first. So you just want to smooth the icing on the top. Okay, I'm going to add some berries for colour. Quite nice to cut the strawberry in half. Some blueberries. And then I'm just gonna shave some chocolate on. My Swedish chocolate mud cake, one to please everyone.
To visit people who believe so much in what they're doing is truly inspirational. Whether it's making the best prawn sandwich or raising the happiest pigs. The more I learn about Swedish food, the more intrigued I become. It's simple yet refined.